let's discuss about what we are doing best when we are away from home, away from our cat, traveling and discovering the world. It's my first time ever doing a vlog in English. I would like to make this video in English to be able to share the info as broadly as possible with as many as you. 20 things I learned while traveling to more than 20 countries in the last 3 years and working full-time remote as a French legal advisor to an IT company. The first one is about money, because you don't know how to proceed with the currency, you don't know what's best, maybe to exchange the money here in the local country where you are, or should you wait until you go there. All these specificities I will present to you, what we've learned and how it worked best up until the end of this video. So relax on your couch, on your bed, because this will be a long video. I talk a lot, I don't know when to stop, and imagine this is not even my native language. Just imagine how much I talk in Romanian. Back to our things. Always bring cash in any country where you are going. This is the law. Our general rule after experiencing so many countries is that it's better to keep most of your financial resources on your card and use an app, for example an exchange app. I will talk also about this on point 17. 2. Place the cash in different spots in your luggage. Avoid pickpockets. Pickpockets are everywhere. Don't trust them. Place your money in different spots. This way, at least, if they will steal something from you, they will not steal everything. Third thing, learn a few basic words in the local language. It's very important. A little shukran or merhaba will do wonders. Gustoso. No matter where you are, people will always be happy to hear that you know something about their country and about their language. It's a nice, polite thing to do, and actually I am I am a little obsessed with this. I love learning new words in every country that I am going. I try to learn as much as possible. Buongiorno, prego. I will combine English with the local language, and I will always sneak in a little word in their local language to see that I know something about them. It makes them happy. It makes me happy. So let's move on to point 4. Research the local specificities. This is no joke. If you are going and if you are visiting, for example, a Muslim country, you must know certain rules that don't apply to us in Europe, and it's perfectly fine. We are not traveling to change something. For me, when I travel, I see it more like an observer. You are observing the lifestyle of other people. For me, it's like traveling into a multiverse, because I get to see how my life would have been if I was born in a certain area or in a certain period of time. Because it's very interesting to travel from Jordan, for example, where the year is 1444, and when you are going to Thailand, you will be able to see that they are actually in the future. It's very interesting to see the specificities and the differences between the cultures, but what's the most important thing about traveling is respect. You are not there to be impolite and to apply your own rules that you know from your own country in another country. If you are in a Muslim country, don't be affectionate with your partner, even if you are allowed to do that in our country. You are in another country, you are traveling, so you must adapt. It's not comfortable for them to see you displaying affection to your partner in public, so don't. Please, no. Moving on. Point 5. Health insurance is worth it. If you are an European, you have, let's say, a better option because you have an European health card that you can order for free from the authorities. I will leave the link for Romania below in the description if you haven't. It's free, it's from the authority, it's basically your right as a citizen of Europe, but of the European Union to be correct. But actually, if you are not visiting a country in the European Union, or if you are not from the European Union itself and you want to visit, then I will always and strongly advise to purchase previously a health insurance. This is not something sponsored by any partner or any customer. This is basically related to our experiences. So any brand in this video, it's not a paid advertise, it's simply a suggestion. Regarding health insurance, there is a website, I will leave it below in the description as well, that I have used prior to knowing about the European health card that you can order basically for free. And I was always purchasing and checking the differences between the prices and the services that were included in the package of benefits that different companies offer. Basically, you can see the competitors and you can choose the best option for you. It worked wonders for us every single time and I can't recommend it enough. Whoa, 0.6, and I haven't even talked 30 minutes about it. If you want to buy tickets in advance for a certain experience, a boat tour, kayak, I don't know, always buy from well-renowned sites. If we have discussed already about pickpockets in real life, I would say that it's even more dangerous now with the phishing and everything that happens. So don't buy from random websites that offer you a better price or things like that. Always buy from well-renowned websites or the local authorities websites where you will have exactly the prices which are applicable. And if this is a little trick that I use every single time for any website that I am checking, if the website is not starting with HTTPS, S at the end is very important because S means secure. So if it's not secure, that means it's not safe. Leave it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to have your identity stolen, your credit card details, and you might transform a future holiday in a future problem. Moving on. You will see text here, text here. 7. This is a little personal. On long flights, you might experience some bloating or some tummy ache. I don't know what it is. Now, I have been eating the food from the airplane and I was actually very bloated. I wasn't feeling well at all. And it was a well-renowned worldwide flight company. So I would say that it's something sketchy about this. But anyway, the idea is that it's always great to have tummy pills with you. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why my body reacted this way. It was the first time when it happened to have a tummy ache or to be bloated during a flight, and it was actually very uncomfortable. I didn't have pills with me, and I would strongly recommend to have in your hand luggage some pills. Tummy ache, bloatedness, something to calm you. Even a tea would be a great comfort. Peppermint, it's great if you have chamomile. These are great teas for you in case you are not feeling so well. 8. Essentials to be packing. Always bring battery charger, external battery, antibiotics, probiotics because you might be a little disturbed from the antibiotics, and other pills that you may require. This is very important because in some countries, it happened to us in Spain, I couldn't even get an ibuprofen, nothing. They were not willing to provide to us, even if Andrei was in a very difficult health position. Half of his face was swollen. And that person from the pharmacy, even if it was visible that Andrei was not feeling well and he was all swollen up, it was a stomatological problem, then they would not provide us with a pill to help us because we didn't have the subscription. It is highly sensitive to have pills with you, whatever pill you may need. I always bring something for cold, for motion sickness because I'm not feeling well. I always have this problem with motion sickness, but I somehow tend to get on every boat I see. And I always have something related to constipation, to diarrhea, to dizziness. 9. It's a good idea and it helps us a lot to look in advance to see how we can get from the airport to the city. In general, it's very important to check where the airport itself is. Low-cost companies have this tendency of selling you cheap flight tickets, and they might be in a different city than the main city where you want to go. It happened to us in Brussels. Am ajuns la Charleroi. Am cumpărat deja biletul către Bruxelles, că era noapte și știam că o să fiu obosită. But we were well prepared because I knew that it was outside of the city and I was outside of Brussels, and I was able to buy tickets in advance from GetYourGuide to secure ourselves a spot for the bus. And it's always best to see how you can get from the airport to the main city because in general there are some pretty high fares and there are many people trying to take advantage of the tourists and to grab as much money from you as possible in order to get you to the destination safely, to your hotel or to your accommodation. So avoid this by looking in advance. Another tip, 10. Something very useful for us is related to internet and to the SIM cards basically. I was never the type of person to travel without a SIM card if I didn't have internet in the said country because it's for my safety and it's for our general information because we are able to search things online and to see if the currency is right. It may be very, very helpful to have internet, to have access and to invest a certain amount of money in a SIM card. Now, it depends, but my main recommendation is if you want to buy a SIM card in the airport are always more expensive. You know that. Everything that you buy in the airport is very convenient because you can purchase directly from your flight. But what I have learned, it's also applicable to exchanging money and to buying SIM cards. If you want to buy at a better rate, you should always wait to pass security. And when you pass security, the price of the same product from other companies, for another SIM card with the same amount of internet was so much cheaper. Am găsit la acest magazin, chiar cum ieșiți de la securitate și de la control de la bagaje, am găsit True, foarte bune prețurile, 700 de baht o cartelă și vedeți aveți 50% reducere la al doilea SIM. 11. This is something very valuable for me and it was always one of the top things that I would check when I try to book something or when I am considering booking another holiday. Enter the Facebook groups. I can tell you for Romania, it's called Vacanțe Do It Yourself. It's Holiday Do It Yourself in translation. And it's basically a big group of people that are always traveling and they are sharing their experiences. You can see very good travel tips. You can find very good phone numbers from drivers, from local companies. We always tend to double check to see if there are also other Facebook groups for other cities specifically. So for example, when I went to Split in Croatia, I entered the Split Facebook group for tourists. I checked to see if it's active, if there are many members, and there I could post a question for the other local providers to see and to help me. I posted a Facebook post there in the said split group tourists whatever on Facebook, and I asked, is it possible, can someone help me and my boyfriend, it was my boyfriend at the time, to book an experience, a boat trip. We want to see this for tomorrow, and what are the prices? And I was contacted by multiple local providers, and I was able to compare the prices and what they were offering. Moving on. 12. Sometimes you might need an adapter, like in Cyprus, UK, and other British colonies, former British colonies, excuse me. This might be essential to bring. If you are not sure, you can always bring a little adapter with you. It's not taking so much of your luggage, but maybe you arrive late and you don't have the adapter with you to charge your phone, and how you will be able to get in the morning and discover the city without an adapter, and to search exactly the places where you can buy an adapter. So difficult. Bring an adapter if you are not sure, or document yourself if it's required prior to visiting another country. 13. Tips for money exchange. In Romania, what we do, if for example we need to exchange money from RON, this is our local coin, to Baht, this is the local Thai currency, it's super expensive. Really, it's not a good deal to exchange the majority of your money here in Romania. But if it's from RON to Euro, we will exchange it, or to dollars, of course, we will exchange it to Tristor. It has a very good exchange rate. For us, it's the best option, and it's almost always open. From what I know, it's non-stop. Or if you need Turkish lira, it might be best to exchange from RON to Turkish lira directly there in Turkey. But I wouldn't exchange them, all the financial resources I wouldn't exchange them all in the airport. I would exchange just a small portion in order to, for example, pay for something that you need, but not the entire amount that you have. It's not practical, and you will find better rates in the city during day when you will be able to accommodate yourself with the city and with the surroundings. The other option you might consider is withdrawing money directly from the ATMs there. In Thailand, this was actually the best thing that we could do. When we needed, we have withdrawn money directly from the ATMs. The amount that we were paying was so small. I will leave the video with how we proceeded. It is in Romanian, but you can activate the subtitles to understand. Suntem la ATM, scoatem bani. Facem un withdrawal, 25.000 trebuie să scoatem.
Ai 25.000, nu?
Este un comision unic în Thailanda de 220 de baht în funcție de câți bani scoateți. Deci dacă scoateți sume mai mari, este foarte avantajos, pentru că practic 220 de baht înseamnă cam 28-30 de lei. But for other countries, it's better to bring euro, dollars. In Istanbul, for example, they were always accepting dollars or euros. They were actually requesting directly to pay in euro, and I was saying to them, no, provide me with the price in Turkish lira, because it was better, and I was able to exchange from RON to Turkish lira there in Turkey to have a better price. Okay. 14. Luggage. If you are going and visiting a destination with multiple climates, for example, when we went to Thailand, we went from the capital, Bangkok, to the north, where it was of course colder, and then we went to the islands, and to the islands it was very hot and humid. So we wanted to have as many different clothes as possible, and when you are not sure, consider layering. It's always best to consider layering when you are going somewhere with the temperatures changing very rapidly, like it happened in Edinburgh or in Amsterdam. The weather there is quite temperamental, I would say. Yes. If you are visiting a Muslim country or a Buddhist country, you must consider covering yourself. So I wouldn't be able to go like this in Istanbul to visit a mosque. It's disrespectful and they will not have it. You need to have a scarf. In Jordan the same, in Qatar the same. I always had a little scarf with me, a scarf to cover my hair if it was required, if the persons were, for example, more religious and they were not accepting other women with their hair displayed. Even if I know in our country is perfectly legal and you might consider this as exaggerated, it's not. For them, it's a practice of being humble. So by understanding the other cultures, you might be a little more willing to comply with their local practices, local customs. For me, it wasn't difficult at all because I knew I was just a passenger there. I was meeting local Muslims with many generations before me. They had the same customs for, I don't know, centuries. And I will not be able, and I do not want to change anything. I will always bring something to cover my arms, my legs, and my chest. In Buddhist countries, for example, the same rules apply if you are visiting their temples, which are extremely beautiful. I love visiting religious spots because they are so well maintained and I can see the great amount of money which was devoted to making these structures and these attractions so beautiful for religious purposes, of course, but for me as a tourist it's very interesting to see the golden statues, everything that it's painted so colorful. It's extremely beautiful. I was actually in love with their temples and I wanted to visit Thailand so much due to these temples, which I find absolutely fascinating. Some of them made me cry. Download from home the taxi apps that you are going to use, because you might not have internet and you also need to know what kind of taxi apps are available to you in the specific country. For example, in Asia it was very popular something called Grab that we don't have, and Bolt, and we also have Bolt here in Europe. I found in most of the European countries that I went Bolt to be applicable, so I would say that Bolt is a general international app. I would avoid as much as possible using local transportation without an app because it's not safe. You might pay a bigger amount of money and for nothing. So it's always better to have these apps installed. Bolt, Grab, Uber, I don't know what are the apps which are available in the specific country where you are going, but with a little research by asking ChatGPT, I am sure that you will be able to find out pretty quickly what are the apps and to save some money. Okay. 17. Keep most of your financial resources on your card. This is something that we have broadly discussed previously. We are using now Revolut to exchange money in real life, let's say, but you can always consider other apps if you know that they are more convenient. And we would like also to see if Salt, it's a new app here in Romania, to see how it works. I can't yet recommend it because I haven't used it, but we are constantly documenting ourselves to see if it's a good option or not for us. 18. Some apps are better than the others based on the region itself, not based on their services. By that I would like to say and to emphasize that the differences between Europe, Asia are the apps. We are more used in Europe, in the European Union, to book via Booking, for example, the accommodation or Airbnb. In Asia, Booking was having higher rates than Agoda. Agoda is available also in the European Union, but I have never used it because it's not super popular. There aren't many hosts providing their services, so it's not such an useful app if you are traveling in the European Union. But in Asia, it was the best. Actually, Agoda was the best app to book experiences, to book hotels. You could always book cars if you wanted. As for Booking, 19, we are going to the end. Look who came! We continue to discuss about apps because we are in the generation of internet and the era of speed. It's very important to have the apps installed and to know the different specificities and when to use them correctly. For traveling, I will always use TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is very important for me while I research what to do in a specific location, or if I want to see what are the best touristic things to do, because you might want to see catacombs, you might want to experience I don't know, a helicopter ride. That's perfectly fine. You will be able to see everything. Wine tasting, scotch tasting, that is very popular in the said destination, you will find on TripAdvisor. After you finish your research about what you want to do in the said location, in the said destination, you can search the prices on GetYourGuide or on Viator. Viator is more popular in America. You will always find plenty of experiences on Viator as well in the European Union if you are visiting. We are using most of the time GetYourGuide. It's more convenient, more accessible for me, as I am very well familiar with the platform. I can say that it's a very safe app because I received many questions regarding GetYourGuide from your side. If it's safe, if you should book it, if it has better prices. This depends related to the prices. You might have a discount code. You can always ask ChatGPT to search if ChatGPT can find the discount code. It happened to me actually one time. But you might want to negotiate directly there the prices with the providers, and of course you might get better prices. Depends on you what you are willing to do, if you like stability or if you want to do something more spontaneous. Moving on. 20. We don't need this anymore. Don't stand out. You want to avoid accidents, pickpockets, and different bad things happening to you, which might ruin your experience. It's not advisable to wear flashy brands and to show off how rich or imposing you are. I have seen tourists shouting out, "I am super rich, please steal my things." And this is not safe for you. This is not a good thing to do for your own security. I am proud to say that I visited Paris, Barcelona, Edinburgh, Brussels, Amsterdam, Luxembourg, Roma 2 times without being the victim of pickpockets. Pickpockets are a real thing. They are going to steal from tourists. In Barcelona, they were stealing in a full street with everyone there, with thousands of tourists being there. Las Ramblas. There we had the accommodation near Las Ramblas, and we were just walking there and we were seeing how other tourists were being stolen out of nowhere. And if you are branded and you are full of brands, Louis Vuitton, if you are a walking Prada, you might not be safe. That's the truth, and you need to consider this when you are traveling, if you want to be safe, and of course if you are not traveling in a big group, because we are always traveling as a couple, just the 2 of us, no big groups. Maybe one day if you will want to join, and I will maybe consider doing something. I am well aware of the legal responsibilities that I have as a provider to ensure that everyone is as safe as possible. For me, safety is the number one thing while I travel. When I am visiting, for example, super popular destinations, touristic attractions, Parc Güell, for example, I have my phone in my hand at all times. We are always putting the money in the bag, for example, as low as possible, because if you are putting the money in the frontal pocket of your bag, it's super easy to open it and to steal your money or your wallet or whatever, and you might lose also your passport or your ID depending on how you travel. We are not traveling for long-term holiday. We are just going a bit, 7 days, 10 days, maximum 2 weeks. This was our maximum. And if I am there for such a short amount of time, do I want to have the stress? Do I want to visit the authorities and to make sure that I will be able to enter the country again? No. I will make sure that my money is secure, my phone, and of course my papers are very well secured. This is very important. I would like to thank you if you have reached this point of this video. It's amazing. I would like to invite you to subscribe, to ring the bell if you want to see the next videos. The next videos will be in Romanian. I have so many seasons going on. I have Portugal going strong, Thailand, and I will start also the seasons of Benelux. So we have Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands going soon, this year I hope, this year. And we will also share more about Edinburgh, Scotland. It was actually one of the best experiences we ever had. I would like to thank you once again for your time, for your patience, for listening to me even if I speak so much. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please let me know. Provide me with your suggestions, or provide the other travelers that are watching this video with your knowledge, with what you learned while traveling, with what you discovered and maybe I didn't cover in this video. If you want to make also a video in French, I also speak French. Je ne sais pas si je vous ai dit, mais je parle aussi en français. Et si vous voulez que je fasse aussi une vidéo en français, laisse-moi des commentaires ci-dessous. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. I will now add the outro from Walt Disney.